Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for a global GEG event. It's been a while, but we are back. And we are celebrating the fact that the Innovator Academies are back in person for the first time since 2019. 2019, when we all became, when we founders, the six of us for Global GEG, became Innovators. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We are going to be talking about the Innovator Academies being back in 2024 in person, and also the Virtual Academy. Thanks. In the chat, please tell us where you're from, where you're joining us. Are you an innovator, existing innovator? Are you an applicant? Are you hoping to apply? And which academy you are going to apply for? Apologies, Brussels people. I know your application just closed today. We couldn't do this sooner, but none of us speak Dutch either. At least no one I know speaks Dutch either. But good luck if there are any Brussels people here. But I know we are live with quite a few application windows, which we will go into shortly. So the hosts tonight is us, the Global GEG founders. You've got myself, Abid Patel. I'm an IT director of a multi-academy trust of schools in London. Luis, over to you.
Hi, I'm Luis Cruz. I'm an innovator from New York, NYC 19. I work as a data analysis and administrator in Colegio Marymount in Barranquilla, Colombia. Steph?
Hi all, I'm Steph Rothstein. I am from California. I'm in Northern California, and my role is I support all 30 schools in my school district with innovation. And I was lucky enough to go to SEA 19, so Singapore, and then meet all of these lovely people after. So good to see you all. Thank you for having me.
Bonnie unfortunately can't make it tonight because she's not feeling too well, but we wish her well. But Bonnie Schlett was is an innovator from, and she attended Singapore 2019 alongside Steph, and she's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Leslie.
G'day. I'm Leslie Altman from Australia Down Under. I attended Sydney 2019. This is where we all met online. I am now founder of Lighthouse PD after more than 40 years supporting teachers in person, and I'm working with teachers online. And it's so great to be here. Gee, it's been a long time.
And I think that's it. There's no one else that we need to introduce. I'm gonna go ahead, Stephanie.
Wow. Never miss a beat with Abid. So hi everyone, I'm Stephanie. I'm the kind one out of the group. And with that, I was a part of Sydney 19 with Leslie and had a blast. And I'm so glad you guys are all considering applying because it completely changed my life. So it's a really great experience. I am the founder of Gold EDU, and then I'm also a teacher success champion at CAMI.
And we have a special guest who's here for all of 5 minutes, maybe. So Kim.
Hey y'all. I am in Anaheim, California, attending an AI summit. So welcome. I am from Sydney 19, innovator with Stephanie and Leslie, and it changed my life also, actually. I would have never even imagined that I would be at Google or anything, to even just imagine even going to Sydney. I knew nothing then, and it really changed my life. So I'm excited to be here. Thank y'all for inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, KLC. Right, so what we're going to be talking about tonight, Innovator, of course, and we will talk about what Innovator is all about. We'll cover off over all of the academies that are happening this year. We'll take a deep dive into the application. We'll go through some tips and checklists for your application, and then we'll open it up to the to the crowd for the open chat. We have a Q&A doc alongside the presentation today. So please do join us in the Q&A doc. I have put the link in the chat there. Put your name and then also just any questions, and then people will address them at the end, or people can respond to the questions in the doc. So it's that link over there, or feel free to scan that QR code. But it's like Leslie mentioned, it's a great resource for everyone to come back to. It'll be available for the remainder of time. Yes, anything that you need, just put it on there, and then we will do our best to find the answers for you, or point you to someone who might know more.
Okay.
So, section 1, what is the Innovator Academy about? So, KLC, seeing as you're the one in charge, did you want to explain what Google Champions and the Champions program and all of the programs underneath it is about?
Yeah, I just saw Leslie put in the chat, community, or what I see, we just rebranded Champions at ISTE of last year. And so what I see Champions, when we think of like an umbrella, and then Innovator, Trainer, and Coach are encompassed under one underneath, but all of us really serve the same purpose. And so when I think of Innovator, although you're trying to come and solve a problem, but it's coming together as like-minded individuals, and just to really network and to just think outside the box and like strengthen your mindset. Obviously, you have a different mindset because you're applying, and you'll be accepted into the cohort. But just in terms of shifting the mindset and opening up so many different avenues of learning. Before I always say this, I'm from Mississippi, and I never really even imagined even flying to Sydney, Australia, by myself at that. And so just to open up my mindset to be able to do that, but then it opened up so many other opportunities just from meeting everyone. From Mississippi, it was always just honestly black, white. And that's not the world. And so being able to go to Sydney and learn about so many different cultures and learn about the different educational systems was what was for me. So all of that, what I'm saying, is encompassed to me of what champions mean, what innovator means, when we think of trainer, coach. But it just was a phenomenal opportunity for you to be able to talk with like-minded individuals and network.
Wow, thanks, Kim. Can I just jump in there, Abbott? I won't take up too much time. As I said, I'm 2019, Innovator 2019. We became Innovators in May, and I did it on my own. I didn't talk to other innovators. I knew people who were innovators way up there, and I thought, I didn't want to trouble them. I didn't want to ask them for any support. I realised how strong this community was, and how giving and how supportive the community of champions, as we now call all of innovators, trainers, and coaches. So I did it on my own, and somehow or other I squeaked through. It was very stressful. And what I started about a month or two later was something that I called Open Chat. And it was to bring innovators who were so willing to come on board. Thank you all innovators who are here to support and jump in where you can. And people who wanted to apply, come together, make this space to come together. And of course, when we became Global GEG, the community got wider and wider, and this was such a perfect platform. So thank you to all innovators who do share their time. And this is what it's all about. We're here, we're going to give information. Put your questions in the chat. Don't forget that the chat is open here, and also Q&A. So that's all I wanted to say. Open chat, here we go.
Thanks, Leslie. Steph, I know you've got to pop out in a few moments, so over to you.
Okay, so there are many reasons to become an innovator. I think if you're here, then maybe you've answered some of these questions for yourselves. But one of the things that I thought about before applying, similar to Leslie, innovator wasn't something that actually was on my radar. I had an amazing person that I was working with at the time who said to me, "Hey, I think you should apply for innovator." And when I've asked other people how they came to become an innovator, they often talk about someone sharing it with them, and talking about their own experience. And so I was really grateful. The person who said it to me wasn't an innovator, but had talked to me about how she saw certain things within me that she thought I would really appreciate it. And I was all about solving problems in our organization, and that she thought I could think about it on a global scale. And so it really helped to open my eyes. I hadn't done anything at that point. I then looked into the certifications and did them. Then I applied for trainer. For me, I wanted that to help ground me in understanding what are all these certifications about. And then it helped open me up to a community that was much bigger. And for me, then I felt the confidence to at least try. I didn't know what would happen. So I would say everyone's why for applying is different, but I do think that it leads you to amazing community. Whether or not you get in, I think that you are a part of a community. And all of these people are here to support whatever it is that you see as next projects and next steps. And so I think one of the many reasons why we founded Global GEG was to support people in that growth, and that innovator really was that instrumental step for many of us in beginning that opportunity for growth. And so I'm so excited for all of you. I can't wait to hear and see what comes of your applications, but just know that we're here to support you. And I have to go run off and be a mom and pick up kids from school, but I will chime in on all of the type docs after, and just know I'm here virtually. Bye and thank you.
Thank you very
Steph.
much, Steph.
Plus,
and I've
nobody's
noticed that
mentioned
Mr.
yet, but there's swag. Look, we get cups, we get mugs, we get T-shirts, we get lots of awesome stuff. But that's not all.
Well, it's funny you bring up the mugs, Luis, because Mr. Innovator Program himself has joined the call, Andy, and Andy has some very interesting stories to tell about the mugs.
I knew that I would be introduced by the fact that I once thought it was a good idea to post mugs all around the world that would not hold together in the post whatsoever. Hi, everybody. My name's Andy, and I work with lots of other people who look after the program. So I work with a big team of people from all around the world who help manage some of the Innovator program. And I know Kim's on the call, and those other people around on the call today. So just wanted to pop in really and say hello to everybody. And you're in really safe hands with the Global GEG group, who have a great record of helping people and supporting people who want to apply to the Innovator Academy. And like everybody else on the call, I went through the Academy back in 2016 and I applied, and it took me 3 attempts to get onto Innovator program. So although I now work on the program, I had 2 unsuccessful applications, and then the 3rd time was lucky for me, and I got back on the call. I got back on the program. So if you don't get through on your first attempt, feel free to apply again. Really important to keep trying and really reiterate and change your application and focus on the problem, which I'm sure lots of people will talk about in this call. I'm only going to join you for a little bit tonight because I literally have just got back from some traveling, and I need to say hello to my family as I've just come in and jumped on the call. So I need to go and do family time in a little bit, but I will also jump in on the docs. If there's any questions you want me to answer, feel free. I'm sure the team will ping me if there's anything. But just from me, a big good luck to everybody applying. And I look forward to seeing some of you at the various places we're going to this year. And don't forget, not only are we in person in various locations, but we're also back with an online academy for people who don't want to travel. So real choices this year across those different academies and those different locations. So it's really working out what's best for you when it comes to applications. But good luck, everyone.
And I'll jump in because I have to go back into the session. But good to see you, Andy. And it's good to see a lot of you all on the call as well. And one thing, I applied for Denmark and I didn't get in either. And I really cried. I was so heartbroken. about it. But just know that you can always, try again. And just what Andy said is just focus on the problem. But I'll see y'all later.
See you
Bye, Kim.
later,
Thanks for
Kim.
coming.
Bye.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Andy.
No worries.
Great to have you both here. So yeah, I know everyone else has mentioned it, but I cannot stress enough. One of the best things for me also is the community aspect of the Innovator program and how it brings everyone together. Global GEG and an awful lot of the things that we've done today, the places that we've gone to, the people we've met, has been through the power of the connection of the Innovator program. And absolutely, if there's any reason you apply, if you're looking for a reason to apply, that is the one single reason that I will highlight out every single time. So onto the academies. As Andy mentioned, there are lots of academies that are going on this year, both in person and virtually. So the application process has just closed for Brussels. So good luck to everyone applying for that in the Dutch language. And currently we have three application windows open for 3 academies. So we've got Chicago, which we're going to be focusing more on in the call. Seoul has opened up just today, which is also English speaking language. So anyone fancy applying to South Korea, that's definitely the one for you. And then there's also Sao Paulo in Brazil, which will be in Portuguese. So you've got the application dates over there, the deadlines. You can see Chicago is March the 19th. Sao Paulo is March 20th, and Seoul is April the 9th. So be sure to get your applications in for those. I know lots of people have asked, saying that this wasn't a very friendly EMEA friendly time for this meeting. I will be doing another one alongside some of the members of the team for when Amsterdam opens. So probably towards the end of April, in a more European-friendly time zone for those who are interested in applying for that. And then also you've got the Virtual Academy as well. So lots of choices this year, absolutely. So the application itself. With regards to the application, what we're going to take a deep dive into what the application process looks like, what you need to consider, and a few other things around that. So you want to start off by I've got all of these links in the chat, but you can see here. Are you seeing my screen? Nope.
I theoretically pinned it, but apparently the pinning isn't working.
Cool, no worries. Let me just unshare my screen and share it again.
So while Abbott's getting that organised, yeah, I've just put in the chat there. When I looked at the application, I just thought I just might leave it. It just looks too overwhelming, and that's one of the reasons why we want to go through probably some of the more mundane aspects of it. But this is what I missed out on, not asking innovators. So let's have a look, Abbott.
Absolutely, thanks for that, Leslie. I think there's an awful lot to learn from these kind of meetings and just reaching out to other innovators. One of the things that we mentioned further on as well is how if you ever need any support with your application, then definitely reach out to existing innovators. There's lots on this call, but also get onto the socials, use the hashtag Google EI, and there will be loads of people who will be more than happy to look through your application and give you some hints and tips. And one of the main things to remember is innovator applications are graded by existing innovators. So reaching out to existing innovators is absolutely powerful because they're the ones who are going to be looking at your application. So what you can see here is the homepage, which is certifiedinnovators.com. Once you go down to that, you can see the application. You can see the academy dates
quick
here.
observation of it: if for some reason your location or your language is non-English, make sure to scroll all the way down to the bottom and select English Global, or else it's going to display in your language. And for some mysterious reason, Google hasn't translated the website to all languages. So some of the information that you can see in English is not really available elsewhere.
Thank you very much for that tip, Luis. So to get started with your application, you want the big blue Apply Now button there, which will take you to this page, and then you can scroll on the Google Certified Innovator button there, and then
Can
you
I
can
jump
see
in,
there are.
Abbott, sorry to
Yep.
interrupt. I was going to put it in the chat. So Google Innovator looks back at your level 1 and level 2 certificates, or level 2 certificates, can't remember.
Just 2.
So do you log into this application with the same email you log in to your Google for Education? Just, like telling people from someone who knows. Do you use the same email, or do you use a different email? Because they've got to track back and find your level 1 certificate, or level 2, certificate.
Yes, I think that is on the application itself.
Yeah,
Leslie,
sorry to
we'll
jump
cover
in.
that in a second. No, thank you very
I
much.
got kind of drowned at that point. Use the same email. Jared, thanks very much, because that's where I made one of my big mistakes, because I didn't ask.
Perfect. So you can see here you've got all of the available application windows open there. So you've got Chicago, Sao Paulo, Seoul, and Brussels, which I think is closing. It looks like they've extended the date there, the 15th of April, apparently. So they're all open. But we'll focus on the Chicago one. So once you click on that, you'll get the option here to start your application. And then you've got the 3 sections, and the good thing is it gives you an option to save the application for later at every point, so you don't have to worry about getting the application all done in one go. The first part is pretty self-explanatory, just your name, your school name, your job title, and then just some of your personal information. Be sure to have a mailing address there that you can receive parcels and packages, because they will be sending out swag, but also other stuff that will go towards the actual academy itself, which is really great. And then onto the main crux of the application. So I will switch back to the to the presentation. So the first thing that the first question that it will ask you is about your online advocacy. It's about your persona. It's about what you're doing online. Are you part of lots of social communities? What do you do to advocate for innovation in education? Do you already share content online? Gives you an option to go through and put your Twitter profile, your LinkedIn profile, YouTube, if you have anything like that. Absolutely. One thing to stress here is don't be worried if you don't feel that you have a big social profile. A lot of innovators will tell you that we didn't have big social profiles before we applied for the academies. Usually what happens is it blows up after you get into the academy, because then lots and lots of people will start following you. And a lot of us went through that exponential growth on that. Steph, did you want to say anything on online advocacy? Is Steph Howell still here? If not, Luis, did you want to jump in?
Well, yeah, I think lots of people freak out because they don't have thousands upon thousands of hours, and nope, don't worry about it. It's just the scorers want to see if you're somebody they'd be willing to work with. So if you're disagreeable, online, you might probably be disagreeable in person. So it's generally to get a gist of what people look like, sort of, or how they behave. I've seen people get in with no followers and no social, so don't freak out about it.
Thanks, Luis. So what, like Luis mentioned there, one of the things that innovators are looking for are people who have, passionate people. We want passionate people in the community. We want people who are striving to, bring the best possible experiences for the children in education, and also staff in education. And so the next part of the application asks about your history of transformation, what it is that you're what it is that you've done historically, what it is that you're doing currently. And so it'll ask you to link to a piece of content that you've created that you think has inspired others. It'll ask you to go into an explanation as to why you think that that piece of content has inspired folks. And then also, how are you keeping up with your trends in education? In technology, things are changing all the time. I'm sure we all know about how AI has blown up, and that's quite a big focus for the Chicago Academy this year. And then, just to get some of your innovative spark ideas, there's a question on, describe the Google Workspace feature that you think will be added in 5 years. And I think Google really take notice of that, because there's loads of stuff that I've put in, and there's loads of stuff that I know others have put in, which have actually come to life. So I'm sure there are people in the team who are looking at these things. And then, of course, why do you want to become an innovator? Absolutely. Show your passion there in the 150 word limit that you've got, and remember to stick to those limits, because you will get graded down if you don't stick to those limits. That is really, really important. Leslie, did you want to say anything about history of transformation? You're on mute, Leslie.
You're still on mute, Leslie.
That's
Too much Vegemite for breakfast.
No, not yet. So yeah, word count is really important. I actually opened up a Word document and typed in my response, and it would give me a word count. And so I'd start to panic because I was like 200 characters or words or something over. Hyphenating a word makes it one word, just a little tip from one who knows. But yeah, they want clear, concise responses. And so, yes, get a doc open and get that word count checked.
Perfect. Thank you, Leslie. So the next part of the application goes on to your challenge, which is one of the biggest focuses of the application. And so what it will ask you about is a description about your challenge, and then also an interview in terms of interviewing the person who, whether it's a student or a member of staff who is impacted by your challenge. So one thing that is different for 2024 is for the Chicago Academy, Google introducing a new approach to innovator challenges and the project that you will work on. So what Google are doing for the Chicago Academy is they've partnered with 5 nonprofit organizations who will then go on to then support innovators with their projects once the academy is finished. The important thing here is that anyone who is applying for Chicago must submit an innovator project that fits under one of the following 5 themes. And those themes are as you can see there. So you've got the 5 organizations there. You've got ISTE, Carnegie, EdLock, TED-Ed, and Our Turn. And why I mentioned AI, ISTE, their theme is around how might we elevate and support teacher practice through AI. Carnegie, how might we enhance student learning by breaking down the walls between school and community? EdLock will be looking at how might we ensure people of color have the opportunities to thrive. TED-Ed are looking at how might we amplify and celebrate students and educator voices. And our turn wants to know more about how might we authentically engage students in education and system change. Really, really important that if you are thinking of applying to the Chicago Academy, then your challenge must fit into one of those themes. If you're applying for any of the other academies around the world, then you are free to pick a theme out, pick a challenge outside of those themes, just as it has been in previous years.
Yeah, in the chat, Leslie mentioned, Steph Rothstein made a very good point the other day when we were talking, is it doesn't hurt if you drop by those websites of those companies and just give them a look to see their general interests. Now, one thing that we have learned is that the companies have no say in who gets in and who doesn't. So, don't worry about that. So they don't have much of a voice in the scorers will still be current innovators. We don't actually know who the scorers are, but they and the scorers are under NDA, so they can't actually tell you that they are scorers if they are. So it's one of those things to bear in mind. But current innovators are the people who are going to be scoring, not the different companies.
Thank you very much, Luis. Right, so this part of the application, the first section is describe the challenge that you're currently experiencing in education and why it matters. So, focus on the challenge. And this is the first point time you are hearing this. Focus on the challenge and do not pose any solutions. And you will find that that becomes a huge theme throughout the application and throughout everything we talk about is focusing on the challenge and not the solution. The solution is for the academy. And you'll see we mention it throughout the rest of the slide deck. Fall in love with the problem, not the solution. That is the golden rule for innovator applications. If you even hint at a solution, you will be heavily graded down. People want, the innovator program wants applicants to come to the academies with a real open mind and then focus on the focus on that challenge that you've posed. And once you get to the academy, it really opens your mind as to wow, I never thought that was a potential direction that I can go in. And one thing I will also say is don't be too worried about, if you're not, even during the academy, if you feel that your challenge isn't working, you are absolutely allowed to change your challenge at the academy. There is something called the fail bell. And if you feel that you're not going in the right direction, you ring that bell and then you get a huge standing ovation. Everyone cheers and you reboot, reset, and you start again with focusing on a new challenge. Luis,
Yeah.
Leslie, did you want to add anything?
As teachers, we're always focused on delivering solutions, and I know it's contrary to our nature. So yeah, if you just slightly even hint as to a solution, you'll get shut down. I speak from personal experience. My first application, I talked about problems and stuff, and they said, "Oh, and we could do this or we could do that," and I got shafted. So yeah.
And thank you everyone who's mentioned failing forward. Failing forward is a huge part of the Innovator Academy. I did not understand the concept of failing forward. For me, failure was always something that is detrimental, something you can't come back from. The Academy completely changes your mindset on the concept of failing forward and or failure in general. And failure is not necessarily a bad thing. It is absolutely a learning opportunity, and then how you jump forward from that experience of that particular failure. So absolutely, the whole academy is all about the celebration of the experiences you go through. And that's why that's why we're here today. That's why we're so passionate about the program, because of the way it has changed our mindset and thought process on everything that we do. So as you can see there on the left hand side, if you are applying for Chicago, you've got the 5 choices there for which theme your application is going to fit into, and then you need to do an interview. So you're going to have to interview someone within your who is impacted by the challenge you're posing, and get their perspective. And so the question asks, who did you interview, why did you ask, and why did you choose them? And so then you can really go into why that particular challenge is impacting this person. After that, moving on to the right hand side, you can see it asks you to then frame the challenge in the form of a point of view statement. So an example that is given there is Jose is a busy teacher who wants to eat healthier but doesn't want to feel like he's on a diet. I can absolutely live by that one. And it gives you a few more examples there. So in 20 words, frame that point of view statement as to who your person is that is impacted by that challenge, and then write it from their point of view. And then the next part then talks about key insights of your challenge and what you learned by talking to the person who is impacted by your challenge, and then choosing the area where you think that
you don't have
challenge
to
most
focus on
resonates with.
just one area, but try and hit the one area that's most alike your problem. Doesn't
Perfect. So the big one, and this will be something that goes throughout that you carry forward throughout the academy, is the how might we statement. So now that you've focused in on the problem and you've written the point of view statement, and you've learned more about people who are affected by your challenge, it will then ask you to frame your challenge into a how might we. So an example from my challenge was all around digital transformation. So a very pre-COVID challenge as it was back then, and the challenges around building that community, building that culture of digital transformation and the digital strategy in schools. And so my how might we was framed into how might we bring digital transformation to everyone, everywhere, and on any budget. Leslie, Luis, any other innovators on the call? Did you want to share your how might we's?
Mine was long and complicated, and I had to say it again like a million times because I kept tripping over my tongue. It was something about how might we help teachers and administrators do better lesson planning, sort of.
I put a blog post, it's an old one, and I go back to it a lot because that 4th word, how might we, what's the verb? Share, support, create. That whole blog is focused on that 4th word. So I'm going to put it in the doc as well. So yes, please, if you're an innovator, start popping in your how might we statements. And you can see that, they've probably been a paragraph long in the past, and we've had to hone them right down to be clear and succinct. So thanks, Carla, for putting that in there. Anybody else share your how might we's statements? Please.
Also, for further along, and I'm not telling you guys that your problem isn't worth it. If for some reason you find a problem that is bigger or more impactful or more akin to your needs, they won't frown upon you switching tracks in the middle of the road. It's easy. So my problem went away. It's still in there somewhere. I have plans, but my innovator project became Global GEG. I'm building a community. So yeah, pivots happen, and Don't worry about pivoting.
All the founders of Global GEG had slightly different how might we statements, but at the heart of it was coming together and supporting other teachers to get through, either technology or whatever's happening, or COVID, whatever was happening in your life. But I'm still working on my how might we in a lot of different facets.
And I think it's really important to stress that the fail bell is not just for the academy. The fail bell is through the entire process. So if even after the academy you feel like the challenge you came up with and then the solution you found out that isn't working, ring the bell and go on to another project. And we are constantly, I think that's the power of the community. We're constantly looking for ways. It's in the name, it's innovator, where we have that passion, we have that mindset to constantly innovate. And it's been 2019, it's been several years, and we've gone through a massive change in all of our lives post-pandemic, and a lot of us had to switch into a lot of things that we've all been doing. So absolutely, don't be worried about, don't think too deeply into, I have to then focus on this particular challenge and this, how might we? You can absolutely change it at any point in the process, during the academy, after the academy, when you're working on your project. So do absolutely not worry about that at all whatsoever. And then again, the community is out there to support you.
What's even better, the community is the best part of the program, especially since you have in your pocket, like you're going to have the people in your cohort, which is like the ones you talk to the most, but then you'll reach out to other innovators around the world, and you'll begin to understand the community there. And if you do pivot, and if you do change, or if you do come up with a weird and wacky idea, you're going to find someone that's going to help you, always.
And then the last point on this section is market research. So do a quick Google search on your challenge. Are there any solutions that already do exist for your challenge? And if so, why are they not meeting the needs of your current challenge? So again, going back to that interview, asking the people who have been affected by your challenge, why are these solutions not working for them? But again, to stress, don't talk about a solution that you can think of, because that is not for the application, that is for the academy itself. So once you've done the written aspect, then it's onto the video. Now, this is the one that I know daunts a lot of people. I was absolutely daunted. I always say that my innovator video was the first video I have ever recorded of myself. As much as people refuse to believe that, absolutely, I had never recorded a video of myself before. I had never edited a video. I learned an entire lot in just applying for the academy. Learning how to use iMovie overnight was very interesting indeed. But the video, what does a video have to look like? It should be a video of no more than 90 seconds. And we cannot stress, stay on time. You will be graded down heavily if you go over that 90 seconds. And that 90 seconds should be split into two parts. 30 seconds introducing yourself and why you should be an innovator, or why you feel you might already be an innovator. What are you doing? That is the time to sell yourself, showcase your passion, showcase the amazing things that you are doing, no matter how small. Showcase what you're doing to support your staff and your students in your schools. And then the second part, 60 seconds, is devoted to telling specifically about your challenge, effectively describing what you've written about, but again, showcasing that passion about why you're so passionate about it, and talk in a bit more detail about that challenge, and why you want to present that challenge at the academy. But again, and we cannot stress this enough, and we will keep stressing it, do not talk about a solution. We have looked at lots of innovator applications in the past where the written bit was great, but there was a tiny hint for 2 to 3 seconds to say, yep, and we're going to do a podcast, or we're going to create a website, or we're going to create this great resource. do not hint at a solution. That 60 seconds is absolutely about your challenge and focusing in on that.
And also, Avid really stressed on time. If your video was, 30 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever, and you went 5 seconds over and delivered your how might we statement, they won't listen past the cutoff point. So it's also very good to have your how might we statement maybe roll out like a ticker tape under, your video. But no, they won't listen past the 30 or 60 second or 90 second cutoff time.
At the top of the shared document, you will find a playlist in YouTube by the Innovator program, and you're going to see all the videos of all the innovators that ever got in, so you can get an idea of the rhythm and the pacing, and you can actually see how no one ever mentions a solution.
Because if you do mention a solution, it's highly likely you will not get in. So yeah, absolutely look at those. And you also it's 90 seconds, which is a lot longer than we had, because in 2019 we only had 60 seconds, which was very hard indeed.
My video was 1 minute and 1 second. I was freaked out that I went over.
People will not probably be too worried about 2 to 3 up to 5 seconds over that, but try not to go over that time limit by too much. Absolutely stick to the 90 seconds as much as you can. And we've mentioned it an awful lot already, but the golden rule, that if there is any golden rules, that is the one: do not talk about the solution. And,
okay. Another thing that we haven't mentioned is people freak out because of the production values. You don't need to hire Steven Spielberg. It doesn't have to look like a Hollywood production. As long as you're clear and understandable within reason, it's not bad.
Yeah, like Carla said, she made her video on Canva. I recorded mine on an iPhone and then edited it on the iPhone using iMovie. I recorded an awful lot of takes because I was being a perfectionist like that. But absolutely, it's about selling yourself and showcasing your passion. It's not about the production value. You could have an Oscar-winning production value video, but if you go over the limit or you mention a solution, doesn't matter how good your video is, you will not get into the academy. So it's about the content more than anything. It's about don't put a little bit of effort in, absolutely, but don't worry too much about
one of the best ones that I saw that an innovator shared with me as he was going through the process. He had his iPhone. This is BC, before COVID. We have BC before COVID, AC after COVID, and then there's DC during COVID. So BC COVID. This fellow, he had his content, his passion. It was clear, and he walked in front of his school because it was attributed to that particular building, and he walked and talked to his iPhone. It was clear. He was passionate. His personality was coming through, and he was just walking in front of his school. An iPhone. It was so great.
That's one thing that we haven't explicitly mentioned, but please, people want to get to know you, and there has to be some Googliness, whatever that means. And yeah, it's rather important to get your personality through too.
And so onto the tips and checklist. So Andy put some great tips on in the Champions Hub. If you are an existing champion, whether you're a Google certified coach or a trainer, then do check out the Champions Hub if you've had your the invite. If not, don't worry about it. That will be coming soon. And if you get into the Innovator Academy, you become a champion. But some great advice here. And again, these are some really, really important points. The application process asks you to share and give examples of a lot of docs or videos or presentations that you've done, make sure you check that you have shared your presentations with anyone with the link. Open up an incognito window in Google Chrome, paste the link into the window, check that it opens up. If you share any resources and in your application and they don't open up, you will be heavily graded down, because the people marking it won't be able to see what you what you're celebrating, and we absolutely want to see that. Make sure you check those,
and
those
they won't
links.
come back to you and say, oh, could you just repost that, please? No, gone. And Astrid brought up a really good point. I put it in the Google Doc about, can Google see my certificates? I put some information in there. So you need to be able to check to see if your certificates are live and current on your web assessor document. Go to the Q&A doc, and I've explained how to get there. I've been there often, just saying about something, and so no, they've been really supportive. So check with someone about your your document, and give it to a family friend who knows nothing about education. See if they can work out what you're talking about. So
incognito mode is your friend.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Again, Andy mentioned it as well. Focus on the challenge, not the solution. We've said that enough. That's what the Academy is for. Check that you can actually make the dates. It's the dates of the academies are on the homepage, and in this presentation, which we will share. Check that you are able to make those dates. It is 3 days at Google Office, wherever you apply for. If you can't make those, then there is the Virtual Academy that you can apply for later on in the year. Check out the YouTube video. We've got link on the Q&A doc, which has been shared in the chat. And then check the deadline and the time. There will be the time zone for when the application process closes on the homepage. Like Andy says there, it is a hard cutoff. If you miss it, you won't be able to apply for that.
And it's American time, Abid, isn't it? An American time?
So, I think they are all American times.
I live in the future, so I'm sitting here on Saturday morning. And yeah, Jared, you got it. Yeah. So if it said the 2nd of March, I would think, oh, this is 2nd of March. This is Australia time. So here I am, the future lady, sitting in the future. It's a really lovely day. You'll love tomorrow. And so please be aware it is an American time.
Thank you, Leslie. And just finally, again, so we've already covered off most of these points, but again, remember, if you are applying for the Chicago Academy, make sure your challenge fits in within one of the 5 themes, because it's going to be supported by a partner organization. If you're applying for any of the other academies around the world, you are free to pick any challenge that you are passionate about. Your video, keeping it to the 90-second time limit, making sure that the first 30 seconds are about you and why you're the perfect person for this program, and then the other 60 seconds about celebrating your challenge and being passionate about that challenge. Like Leslie's mentioned, make sure to use the same email account that you use to complete your level 2 certification. You need to be Google Certified Educator level 2 to be eligible to apply for the Innovator program. So absolutely, if you haven't done that level 2, you've still got a few days to get that done. Make sure you do. If you've already done it, make sure you use that same email address that you did your level 2 exam in your application. And then again, like we mentioned, finally, if you do have any questions, there's loads of innovators on the call here. Feel free to connect with us on any of the social platforms, where you can find us on most of them, and ask us. We are more than happy to take a look at your application or pass it on to other innovators.
Yeah, and have a one-on-one. So just to remind Avid, any innovators here, just put your name, your innovator, like mine is Sydney 19, and your your social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Just pop it in now so people can start collecting that.
Yeah, and we'd also like to say hi to Jojo. He's dropping in from Google headquarters in New York. Hi.
How's it going, everybody? I love it. And Luis, thank you for pinging me. Always happy to jump in and say hi. I will just +1 what Abid was just saying. Take advantage of this amazing community of innovators. Get feedback. Keep pushing. Many people apply many times, so don't be discouraged. But definitely stay plugged in. This group is so incredible. It's awesome. Hi, everyone. Saying hi in the chat. I love these people. So absolutely just wanted to say hi. This is an incredible group to stay plugged into. And thanks for telling me to join. I'll just listen.
Thank you. Thank you, Jojo. It's great to see you here. And that's pretty much it for the presentation. We've got the Q&A doc, and I know there's a few things that have been put in there. Feel free to keep adding questions, and we will take a look at the doc. But over to you guys now.
Okay, I guess we should stop recording so people won't. I don't know.
They can ask stuff.
Say what you need to say.
It won't live on into posterity. Okay, I'm stopping. If anybody else is not here, this is the recording. This is the end, but you missed all of the chat afterwards. You can always pop in and look at the doc that we're going to share somewhere. Like and subscribe, all of that.